I'm going to tell you right now, as a beginning entrepreneur, you are wrong about 60% of the expenses you're going to make. Absolutely wrong. And the biggest thing for me when starting a business is you need to get to the part where you're making money as fast as possible. Stop trying to get the business to be perfect before you start making money. If you are going to succeed in this day and age, especially as a new entrepreneur, your ideation process has to involve. Welcome to another episode of Some Underrated Podcast, where we help beginning and aspiring entrepreneurs become action takers and money makers. I am your host, Rolland, and in today's episode, I am going to be talking about top 5 mistakes that new entrepreneurs must avoid. All right, let's get started. The number one thing that I feel like holds most entrepreneurs back, especially in the beginning, are the things that they were not privy to prior to starting their entrepreneurial journey, right? And so the purpose of this particular episode is to kind of help you avoid those things and bring them to your awareness. That way, if you ever find yourself doing any of these things, you know immediately that this is a red flag for you, and this is the path not to go down. So, well, this is in no particular order. All right, so I'm just gonna go through top 5 mistakes that new entrepreneurs must absolutely avoid. Right. So the number one thing is failing to create an SOP. Now, an SOP stands for standard operating procedures, right? When you're starting as an entrepreneur, you are very excited about all of the ideas that you have and all of these things that you want to do. But almost everyone forgets to document their process, right? As you start and as you go through these things and as you create them, especially the ones that actually work, right? We just make the assumption that if we ever had to do it again, we would remember. And I promise you, you would not. But that's not the only advantage of having an SOP, right? Another advantage of having an SOP is if you had to hire somebody to take over and do your job, a standard operating procedure makes it super easy for them to understand what it is you expect of them, right? So even after training, they can show up every day knowing exactly the expectation of the role and how to actually execute on the things that the role demands, if that makes sense, right? Another advantage of a standard operating procedure is, so let's say you start a business and your goal is to grow this business, let's say to $1 million a year or $10 million a year, and then exit the business, right? So basically sell it for a 4x multiple, a 10x multiple, whatever, right? If you already have SOPs in place, you're going to save yourself a lot of time when the time comes to actually exit the business, right? Because whoever's taking over the business has to be able to understand how to run the business. Even if your employees are going to be transitioning to the new owner, the owner has to be able to know and understand what is going on in the business. And that is where your standard operating procedures come into play, right? So let's say your warehousing manager, for instance, the new owner wants to know what this person does and how they actually do their job, right? Because the SOP, your standard operating procedure, basically tells them the process that warehouse manager follows in order to do their job. Now, if they have a better solution for it, they know exactly how to communicate that to the warehouse manager without even talking to him. because they have read through the standard operating procedure for that specific role, right? So having SOPs does not only make your job easier when you have to hire somebody else. And mind you, when you have to hire somebody else, if you don't have SOPs in place, you're going to spend time and money on training the new hire, right? Because you're going to have to take time out of your day, time out of working on bigger picture stuff to completely transfer what you know or what you remember to this person. Because 9 times out of 10, this is what happens. We start a business, you get to a point where you could hire somebody. Your version of training is, oh yeah, this is what I was working on yesterday or last week or last month, right? But that's not really what got you to where you are, though. You just told them what you were doing and somewhat of how you were doing it, but not the entire thing. And the only reason why you didn't tell them the entire thing is because you don't remember. But if you have SOPs already written down, one, you don't have to spend time training them, right? You could have SOPs, like written SOPs and videos. Like I make videos all the time, right? So you can have written SOPs and you can have videos. And then they can just go through the video training. And then you have a call where you pretty much like interview them just to make sure that they actually watch the video. They get everything that you explain in the video, and you can trust them to actually execute on whatever the role demands of them, right? So SOPs are super important to have in the beginning. Now, I know this is not traditional advice, right? And it's not a make or break situation like, if you don't have this, you're not going to make any money. No. But you are going to be way better off, regardless of what your goals are for your business, to have SOPs. Because the worst thing that could happen to you is it comes time to hire and you train this new hire for, let's say, about a month, and their performance is poor. Simply because every time they go out and do something, you have to come back and be like, oh, snap, yeah, I should have told you that. Nope, that's not how you do that. I didn't remember to tell you that there's this one customer or there's this one client that wants XYZ this way. And so the first principles I told you don't apply to this person. But if you already have SOPs, as you are building this company, as you are growing this company, I am telling you, training somebody is 10 times easier. But also, even for the sake of remembering exactly how to do the things that got you to the place that you are. Lastly, the advantage of having SOPs in the beginning as a new entrepreneur is if God forbid, you lost everything today, maybe because of, I don't know, if a fire or I don't know, right? Life is life. Life be lifing sometimes. Let's be real. Life be lifing sometimes, right? And so if you ever lost everything today, if you already had SOPs in place, you're just fine, right? Mix SOPs with general liability insurance for your business, you'd be good because you can just turn around tomorrow and do it all over again, right? You probably have a client list built up and or a buyer's list built up, customer list built up, a supplier's list built up. So the rest of it is just going to be easy. I had to pause right there because I was like, maybe I have more than 5 mistakes. Because as I was thinking about client lists and suppliers lists, I'm going, hold on. Is it obvious to everyone to make a list or no? But it's probably obvious, so we're not going to include it. I'm hoping it's obvious to you that you would have buyer's list, suppliers list, client list, right? Okay, so we're not going to make it the top 5 mistakes new entrepreneurs make. Please make sure you have that. It'd be kind of silly to add that. All right. But My point is, if you already have SOPs in place, and God forbid you lose everything today, and by losing everything, I mean you lose that business, you can wake up tomorrow and do it all over again with zero guesswork. You would literally remember everything you did that worked to get you to the point where you were before you lost everything, right? And so that is the advantage of having standard operating procedures, especially when you're starting a new business, right? So that's my mistake number one that new entrepreneurs make that you must avoid. Now, the second one for me is going to be not setting goals. Now, I know a lot of you would think, well, that's obvious. No, it's not. This is why it's not. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. So we just wake up every morning, we're excited about this business that we had an idea, to create or to start. And so everything we do in our day is a bunch of random stuff that excites us about this new business. That's just the honest truth. When you first start as an entrepreneur, listen, your excitement is on 1,000. Your excitement is on 1,000 because you're working on all of the fun stuff. You're not problem solving yet. In the beginning, you're working on all of the cool, fun stuff. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm telling you right now that when you don't set goals, you're going to wake up 6 months in and realize you've been running around in circles. Your end destination was just start the business. That was your end destination. You didn't have anything concrete, right? And so you can spend 6 months to a year just running in circles. You can spend 6 months to a year going back and forth with the logo guy or the guy working on the company sign. And because the company sign is not ready, you haven't launched. Or, because the website is not up and running yet, you haven't launched. Or because one table is missing in the restaurant, you haven't opened the restaurant, right? Or maybe because, I don't know, you're short 10 lumber, I'm not a handy person, lumber things, right? And now because of that, you don't open up your cabinet shop, right? Not setting goals is going to have you running around in circles for a very long time without even knowing that you're running around in circles. Because the truth about it is, as you run around in circles, you have your friends and your family going, oh my God, like, especially when you're a new entrepreneur, like, oh my God, like you're really doing it. Like, congrats. Everyone's so proud of you. Every day you wake up, somebody's patting you on the back. After you done patted yourself on the back. There's somebody patting you on the back every day when you wake up. I'm telling you, this thing can go on for a very, very long time. Simply because you did not set goals. Can you imagine? I want you to look at it this way. You're starting as an entrepreneur. Let's say your business is on XYZ 6th Street. You lease the building, apartment, suite, whatever it is, right? You can't afford to be running around in circles for 6 months because you've been paying rent for 6 months. I just got a superb example. All right, don't judge me, but I'm going to use an example that is going to make some of you judge me, but relax, Josephine. So my guilty pleasure is reality shows, right? And I love to watch Vanderpump Rules. And if you know what I'm talking about, shout out to you. Did you guys notice how Tom and Tom were literally losing money over the design of their restaurant that they wanted to open with this? Was his name Javier? I think his name was Javier or something, whoever their partner was. They were literally paying the lease for over a year. So much so, one of the times his mom had to sell something to borrow him money to continue paying for the lease because they hadn't opened up yet. They were literally burning money every single day for over a year over design. I don't care what kind of business you want to start. There is no reason why you are stuck on design and flushing money down the toilet for over a year. That makes absolutely no sense. And if you think that is a coincidence, I'm going to prove to you that it's funny the more I think about it, but this is just what happens with a lot of new entrepreneurs. All right, so let's take the girls, Ariana and Katie. They decide to start a sandwich shop. Something about her, I think, what's the name? They end up spending, I think theirs took about a year as well, on fit-ups. Fit-ups for the store and the menu. 1 year. I'm sorry, how? Because this is what's crazy to me. All four of these people could literally sell the exact same thing standing on the street. Do you know why? They already have the audience. Like, they already have a fan base that wants to buy anything they are selling. Why are you overthinking design and menu in Ariana and Katie's case, and in Tom and Tom's case, design? And it was like in Tom and Tom's case, it drove me crazy because it was like all these, like, in my opinion, stupid ideas that Sandoval had. Like, I'm sorry, I know sometimes Sandoval has great design ideas, but a lot of times they're over the top, obnoxious, and just flat out stupid. But here's what happens though. It ends up costing Schwartzy money as well. Why? Because they are partners. Why? Because they never set goals. But if they started with a goal, like, no matter what happens, design we are done with the design in the first 2 months. Even I think 2 months is crazy to be done with design. First 30 days, whatever we have as design, we're going to have to go with that. If we have to refurbish, like keep working on design or redo the place a year later, 2 years later, after we have made money, then that sounds a lot better, right? But being stuck on design for over a year is as a result of not having set goals, right? Set goals that you stick to no matter what. Like, come rain, come shine, this is done after 30 days. And whatever we have, we got to go with that. On to the next thing. So that is the mistake that especially this can happen to seasoned entrepreneurs as well, But I see this a lot with new entrepreneurs. You don't think that not setting goals affects you as much as it actually does. Like, nobody really thinks about it, especially as a new entrepreneur, right? Only seasoned entrepreneurs who are like successful understand like how much of a difference it makes when they set goals for their teams, when they set goals for themselves, when they set financial goals, like productivity goals for everything, right? And so that is my number 2 of my top 5 mistakes that new entrepreneurs must avoid, right? Make sure you set goals, daily goals, set weekly goals, set monthly goals, set quarterly goals, and set yearly goals. You don't want to just be winging it. All right. All right. The third one is going to be a little controversial, especially for today's online gurus who are teaching entrepreneurship and financing and credit and how to, you already know where I'm going. My third one, the third mistake new entrepreneurs must, if you see me looking over there, I'm looking at my notes, right? The third mistake that new entrepreneurs must avoid is using OPM. And if you don't know what OPM means, OPM stands for other people's money. Now, this one's going to be a little controversial because a lot of the online gurus out there are going to tell you, go ahead and use other people's money. And other people's money is mostly just bank money, right? It's just a technical way for them to say use the bank's money, but also other people's money. If you could, there are different ways to raise money, raise capital. I'm not an expert at that, so I don't want to get into it because I'll be chasing rabbits. I know a little bit of some, obviously 7 years in business. I do, but that's not what I want to teach you, especially as a new entrepreneur, right? You want to avoid using other people's money as a new entrepreneur. If this is hurting your feelings, that is good. What it means, or what it tells me, is you really want to start your own business. It's only hurting your feelings because you feel like your dreams are dead in the water when you cannot use other people's money. But that's not true. I actually made a video about how to start a business with little to no money, which includes not using other people's money. So if you want to learn how to do that, go watch that video, right? But you don't want to use other people's money. You want to avoid the mistake, especially as a new entrepreneur, of using other people's money. This is why. When you use other people's money to start without experience as an entrepreneur, and especially using it on a brand new business that has not been tested yet, and on top of that, you are a new entrepreneur. That's double whammy. Right? It does two things. Using other people's money, in your case, does two things. The first thing is it is going to dwarf your judgment in the sense that your sense of urgency and your sense of what's important is dwarfed simply because using other people's money means you don't have skin in the game. When you don't have skin in the game, especially as a new entrepreneur, anything goes. You get an idea for what you should do with this money, boom, you just do it. You don't even think twice about it because you think you know it. You think you are right about that expense that you're about to make. I'm going to tell you right now, as a beginner entrepreneur, you are wrong about 60% of the expenses you're going to make. Absolutely wrong. 60% of the expenses you're going to make, you absolutely don't need. In order for the business to work and start generating money, you don't need it. I promise you, you don't. I don't think there's more than 40% of the things that you think about as a beginning entrepreneur. I don't think there's more than 40% of those things. And by things, I mean expenses that are actually necessary for the business to generate money. And the biggest thing for me when starting a business is you need to get to the part where you're making money as fast as possible. I stop trying to get the business to be perfect before you start making money. Start making money like yesterday. Because when you're not making money, you're losing money. Because you're probably paying utilities, you're paying the landlord, you're paying all these things and not making any money because you're trying to get the business to be perfect. But what happens when you don't have skin in the game is you do a lot more of the dumb stuff. Like the Schwartzes and the Sandovals of the world, right? They had an investor. Now, in their case, they even had skin in the game, but not as much skin as their partner, right? But even with little skin, look how many dumb decisions they were making. Even with little skin in the game. right? Tom Sandoval would always want to buy and add these things that he felt like the people dining in the restaurant would marvel about, right? These like wow factors. Here's the thing. If those things are not in that restaurant, those people still walk through those doors and sit down and eat and come back again. You know why? Because they were never expecting those things to be there in the first place. Nobody expected not saying it was a chandelier. I don't remember what it was, but no one's expecting the big round chandelier that can do 3 backflips and 1 front flip and can do 20 squats all at the same time to be in your restaurant. No one's expecting that. Not saying they see it, they won't think it's cool, but the fact that they're not expecting that tells me that you can make money without spending money on that thing. But here's what happens when you use other people's money. You think, I want to give this business the best chance for success. So I am going to optimize on everything. Looks, optimize. Staffing, optimize. Where you need 2 people to start, you're going to go out and hire 4 people. Do you know why? Because you're using other people's money. If you were using your money, you would literally go, do I need 4 people? Probably not. Could I use 2 people? Yep. You might even start thinking, could I actually get away with not hiring? Maybe get my homegirl to show up and then my little brother to show up, and I can spend way less on labor costs in the beginning because they want to help me out, right? When you don't use other people's money, you think differently about expenditure. When you use other people's money, you are a lot more loose with spending, especially as a new entrepreneur. You want to avoid using other people's money. I'm not saying forever. We're going to get to the point eventually where you can raise money and, use bank loans and stuff like that. But as a new entrepreneur and with a brand new business, you want to avoid this completely. The second reason why you want to avoid this is pressure. When you're starting as a new entrepreneur, your body and your mind has not yet been conditioned for the pressure that comes with entrepreneurship. We are problem solvers and we don't chase blue skies, we chase storms every single day. That's all we do. We chase storms. If your mind and your body is not conditioned for the pressure that comes with this, you are going to fold. When you use other people's money, especially as a brand new entrepreneur, now you don't only have the pressure of the business, now you have the pressure of delivering on the promise you made to whomever you got the money from. Because you probably told them, I'll pay back in 12 months, I'll pay back in 24 months. As a brand new entrepreneur with a brand new business, so much uncertainty around you. You are the uncertainty yourself. You are the uncertainty. The business is the uncertainty. I don't know who gave you money, but they should have never gave you money. And if somebody gave you money, you better go give them back. You want to avoid using other people's money when you're starting, especially as a new entrepreneur. Then on top of that, with a new business, the pressure is going to cloud your judgment. You're going to go from making the right decisions to making the decision that would allow you to give this person their money at the time that you promised them to give them their money. Even if it meant losing the business, even if it meant the business would tank, you would make the wrong decision simply because you owe somebody some money and you want to pay them back their money on time. If you didn't owe them that money, every decision you make at least to the best of your ability, would come directly from you and literally from how you feel about the business. I'm not against making mistakes in the beginning. I'm not against that. But I am against allowing external pressures to contribute to the mistake. I want the mistake to come from you, not the mistake to come from the money you got from somebody else. Some of you are literally running failed businesses, not even because the business does not make money. Your business is failing because you got money from somebody else and you are trying to pay them back. So whenever the business is slow, you take a product that you should be selling for $10 and you sell it for $2 just so that you have $2 to give to them today because you owe them $2 today. And the only reason why you took that money was because you wanted to give the business the best possible chance of being successful. So you went out and hired 3 people instead of 1. You went out and bought an unnecessary chandelier when all you needed was a bulb. Literally. Now, if you didn't have those 3 people in the chandelier and you didn't get that money, even if your business was only making $10 per day, you would be fine knowing there is no external pressure coming in and causing you to sell your product for anything less than the value of that product just to be able to meet said promise. Does that make sense? All right. I don't want to sit on that for too long. Let's go down to number 4. The number 4 mistake that new entrepreneurs must avoid is not having a mentor. Now, the importance of mentorship can never be overstated, ever. Because here's the deal. I always say, this is what I notice about rich people and wealthy people. Rich people and wealthy people don't give a shit about money. Money is not the problem for them. Time is. And so they are willing to give up money to get more time. But I bet you're willing to give up money to get more time. You just haven't noticed or you just don't know. I'll tell you why. If I could give you $10 million right now, guaranteed, I'll give you $10 million today, right here, right now. But on one condition, you got to die. Would you take it? No. Oh, so you would take time over money. You just don't think about it, right? Mentorship allows you to prioritize time over money. I've seen a lot of people say, man, why would I pay a coach or a mentor XYZ when I could literally just go through the process and gain the experience for myself? I don't think they're worth that money. You're right. You're right. Cool. Go through the process. Here's the thing. I always say, you can't be the one to say, that's too expensive. I'd rather go through the process and save that money and be the same one that says life is too short. Because here's the deal. Everybody wants to live like they know exactly when their movie is up, right? You don't know when your movie is up, but you have all these dreams and aspirations and the kind of life that you want to live, and I want that life for you. Here's the deal. Why live that life 10 years from now when you can live that life today? What I mean by that is, if it's going to take you 10 years to build this business up to the point where it makes, let's say, the life you imagine for yourself is making $1 million a year in your business, right? If it's going to take you 10 years to build this business up to where you're making $1 million a year, right? Why wait 10 years when you can go find a coach that's making $1 million a year right now in that business and pay him $10,000 to teach you everything he knows right now? Because he's at $1 million a year already. So everything you're going to learn in the next 10 years, he already has it. For $10,000 or $100,000 or $150,000, you can completely skip 10 years and literally move your life from 10 years ahead and bring that life to today. So let's say 10 years from now, you live in a mansion, you drive a Rolls Royce. You could literally, if you could pay $10,000, $100,000, $150,000 to a mentor, and instead of driving a Rolls Royce 10 years from now, living in a mansion 10 years from now, you're doing that right now. Would you not rather do that? I would, in a heartbeat. I would do that every day, any day, in a heartbeat. That is the value of mentorship, time. The other value of mentorship is you are able to avoid unnecessary pitfalls. And people always make the assumption that pitfalls would always be, something's broken in your business, or no, a pitfall can literally be a freaking lawsuit and your business is over. In a heartbeat, gone in the wind. A pitfall could literally be you find yourself in jail. And of course, a pitfall could also be you lose a lot of money, right? A mentor who has been there is able to give you advice from their experience, help you avoid all of the pitfalls that they didn't get the opportunity to avoid. And that's the whole point of this podcast right now, this episode especially. I'm literally giving you 5 pitfalls to avoid as a new entrepreneur. And whether you're a beginner entrepreneur, seasoned entrepreneur, anybody can learn from these 5 pitfalls to avoid. Anybody can learn from it, not just new entrepreneurs, but I'm specifically speaking to new entrepreneurs because I see it a lot more with new entrepreneurs, right? Mentorship can never be overstated. Not only do you save time with mentorship, but you avoid unnecessary pitfalls. Now, the last but not the least on my list of 5 mistakes new entrepreneurs must avoid, this is actually my favorite one out of all of them. I'm going to try to not go on and ramble for forever, right? The last one is ignoring AI. Guys, I can literally go on and on about this one. Here's the deal. Artificial intelligence has been available to the general public for almost 24 months now. And I still cannot understand for the life of me why everybody is not taking advantage of AI to make their lives easier and to make their businesses easier. You will not be able to imagine the speed at which I am able to get things done today with the help of AI. Like, it is unimaginable. Now, I want you to picture this. Picture a group of people who have made the assumption that they are my competition, but they don't use AI. I want you to imagine how many times I have ran circles. I'm talking about in real life. I am running circles 365 times around my so-called competitors who are not using AI. Because I am moving at such a speed that is unimaginable to them. The only reason why they're not freaking out is because I am not doing it publicly, right? And the reason I'm not doing it publicly is your best move is the move your opponent does not see coming. Your best move is the move that your opponent didn't see coming. But I promise you, I am running circles on most of my so-called competition. And so ignoring AI would be probably the most fatal mistake you are going to make, especially as a new entrepreneur. AI has given me speed, precision, but AI is my think tank. Like, I'm already very creative person. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm a very creative person and very resourceful as well, right? I get very creative because I didn't grow up having a lot. And so, like, coming to America, like, everything in America for me is 1,000 times better than what I would have had if I was not in America, not just in Africa. I'm going to say this, like, without any fear of contradiction. The United States of America is the greatest nation in the world. If you do not agree, go explore the alternative. I don't want to hear your reason why you don't agree. Cool. Go explore the alternative then. You don't have to convince me. I've been on the other side. You haven't. So if you don't agree, go explore the alternative. Quit with the hashtags. Go explore. I dare you. Go explore the alternative if you don't think so. Anyway, I don't want to chase rabbits. But AI is literally my think tank. AI is my virtual assistant, even though I do have a virtual assistant, but like, it's the virtual assistant for my virtual assistant and for me. Ignoring artificial intelligence is going to have you waking up tomorrow and wondering what the hell happened to my business. It feels like I don't have any customers. It feels like somebody just overnight took 99% of the market share. Nothing that I'm doing is working. And it's going to feel like an overnight problem. But it was not. What you didn't notice was how fast your competition was running because they were using AI. What you didn't notice is how, like, the scale at which they were executing because they were using AI. What you didn't notice is how much more creative they were getting with AI. I am out analyzing, out strategizing, and outworking my so-called competition every single day. All of them who are not using AI, and watch this, in my industry, it is all of them. I know it because I'm friends with most of the top players in textile recycling. I'm friends with all of them. We have conversations almost every week. Not a single one of them are using AI. So we just talk and, we kiki and haha. And in my head, I'm thinking, this is crazy. The fact that they don't see the importance of it, you cannot ignore AI, especially as a new entrepreneur. You cannot ignore AI, right? You have to make it your number one priority. If you are going to succeed in this day and age of artificial intelligence, especially as a new entrepreneur, AI has to be in the core of your operation, your SOPs, your strategy, your ideation process has to involve artificial intelligence. Everything that is a repetitive task that could be done like on a computer, AI. Ideation, AI, right? So if you don't have a ChatGPT account, there's no reason why you shouldn't right now. There is a completely free ChatGPT account. You can literally sign up right now and start using ChatGPT. You know the best part about that AI? It's a conversational AI. You don't even have to have computer skills. You just have to know how to type and communicate, like just talk. Tell the AI what you're thinking about. Tell the AI what ideas you would like it to expand on. Get your ChatGPT account today, but you cannot afford to not be using AI, especially as a new entrepreneur in the age of artificial intelligence, because you are going to be, when the internet first came out, the businesses who failed to get on the internet because they thought it was a phase, yeah, their competition cleaned them out, literally wiped them out. You don't want to find yourself in that position. All right. So those are my top 5 mistakes new entrepreneurs must avoid. All right. I hope this episode was transformative, because I really enjoyed sharing these with you guys. It was just top of my mind all morning, and I figured I'd get on here and share with you guys. So if you liked it, please share the video, share the episode with a friend, like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time I drop a great video like this one. All right. I'll see you guys on the next episode. I'm out. Peace.